A man has been charged with 2 counts of murder after 2 Israeli embassy staff were shot dead in Washington last night. US authorities say they believe the man acted alone. Following the shooting, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hit out at allies, claiming that anti-Semitism and anti-Israel incitement by European governments is to blame for the attack. Police say the gunman approached the couple, Sarah Milgrim and Yaron Lischinsky, and opened fire as they left an event at the Jewish Museum in the city centre last night. Here's Sarah Smith.
This was a shocking crime in the heart of Washington. A young couple shot dead as they left an evening event at the Jewish Museum. The suspected gunman had been seen pacing back and forth outside the museum before the shooting. Eyewitnesses unwittingly sheltered him right after the attack.
At around 9:07, we heard gunshots. And then a guy came in looking really distressed, and we thought that he just needed help.
He thought he was experiencing violence or something outside.
And he just needed safe shelter, so he comes in. And
so people were calming him down, bringing him water, taking care of him. Little did we know he was somebody that executed people in cold blood.
He was the shooter?
He was the shooter.
The suspect, 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez, gave himself up to the police, telling them where he'd discarded the gun, shouting pro-Palestinian slogans as he was led away.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Sarah Milgrim from Kansas and Yaron Lischinsky, who was born in Israel, met at work when she joined the Israeli embassy about 18 months ago. They quickly started dating and were due to travel to Jerusalem this weekend, where she would meet his parents for the first time.
The couple that was gunned down tonight in the name of Free Palestine. It's a young couple about to be engaged. The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem.
The suspect's apartment in Chicago has been raided by police. Social media accounts linked to him display his anger over the war in Gaza. Authorities are now working to authenticate what appears to be a manifesto he posted online, accusing Israel of genocide and discussing the use of political violence. The White House says the killings are based on anti-Semitism that has no place in America.
The Department of Justice will be prosecuting the perpetrator responsible for this to the fullest extent of the law. Hatred has no place in the United States of America under President Donald Trump.
Outside the Jewish Museum, a spontaneous vigil was held.
How can we stand here like it's normal?
In Israel, politicians are blaming what they call toxic anti-Semitism. They say it's being encouraged by world leaders who've called for Israel to end the war in Gaza.
I say to President Macron, Prime Minister Carney and Prime Minister Starmer, when mass murderers, rapists, baby killers and kidnappers thank you, you're on the wrong side of justice. You're on the wrong side of humanity. And you're on the wrong side of history.
In New York, armed guards have been stationed outside this synagogue. In Washington, police say they believe the suspect was acting alone and there is no ongoing threat to the public.
Now, what you heard the Israeli Prime Minister referring to there was a joint statement that came from Sir Keir Starmer, the French President, and the Canadian Prime Minister earlier this week, in which they called for Israel to stop its military action in Gaza, saying the situation there was now intolerable and that the amount of aid that was getting in was utterly inadequate. Well, Number 10 today didn't want to comment directly on the criticism that was coming from Mr Netanyahu, but they did point to a statement that Sir Keir had posted on X a little earlier, in which he condemned this attack here in Washington and said that anti-Semitism is an evil that we must stamp out. The French Foreign Ministry have been a little more direct. They characterised that criticism from Mr Netanyahu as completely outrageous and completely unjustified.